Good afternoon to all the participants. Today, afternoon session, I thought I shall trigger something that interests all of us. I thought of discussing about battling negativity. Now, I would like to ask Mr. Ganesha, whom do you consider as difficult people? I'm talking about handling difficult people. So whom would you consider as difficult people?
Madam.
Now, sorry. ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ as peers, you have hundreds of people around you. ಯಾರನ್ನ difficult ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ? It's not about names. I don't want names. I want the nature of people whom you think are difficult people to handle.
Behavior ಬೇರೆ ತರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಮೇಡಮ್. ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಆಗಿರಲ್ಲ. Okay. He has set the tone. Normal ಆಗಿರಲ್ಲ behavior ಬೇರೆ ತರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. Yes, madam. Taking cues from there, could I hear from Dr. Manjunatha, please? Whom would you think as difficult people?
Some fluctuate-minded people.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yes, people with fluctuating minds.
And some multi-deviant personality peoples.
Okay. People with a lot of deviant behavior. Okay,
yes,
wonderful.
Deviant people. So that's types of behavior people considered as a difficulty people.
Wonderful. Dr. Surma, may I hear from you?
The people who are not ready to receive opinions and thoughts from others, who are not open to change, who are adamant in their thoughts and their behavior. So those are the people who are difficult to deal with.
Excellent. Now, we are, I think, about 29 participants here, 28 of us or 26 of us, and 26 of us can give as many as 52, different nature of personalities where we say that, they are difficult. See, the biggest problem in work life comes when you have to deal with negativity. You see? Now, there can be different types of negative people. Let me take you through some of them. There are some resistors. Okay? Resistors who would rail against anything different. For everything, they will put an obstacle. Manjunatha ಅವರು ಹೇಳಿದಾಗೆ, there are people who are wobbly ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ shifting moods, ಸ್ಥಿರತೆ ಇರಲ್ಲ. They are constantly shifting moods and worst ಏನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ they expect others to adjust to them. Okay? And then you have the gossipers. ನಾನು variety of such negative types ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ try and relate to individuals in your mind who tend to project this kind of a nature. ಈ gossipers ಅಂದಾಗ they are individuals who spread rumors. They tell about inappropriate things about other people. They talk about their personal habits. ಹೇಳಕ್ಕಂತೂ ತುಂಬಾ ನೊಚ್ಚಿಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. They engage in gossiping. Okay? This is a negative part. Some of them are blamers. They have a nature. They are constantly blaming others. ತಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತ ತಪ್ಪುಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಲ್ಲ, but they have a tendency to find fault with every other person and then they hook them, they blame them for that, whatever is the consequence. Then, the negative type, victims. ಇವರು ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರಿಗೇನು they are not harmful. ಆದ್ರೆ they believe that all others are out at them. They believe that people are getting on this particular individual. ನನ್ನ ಮೇಲೆ ನನ್ನನ್ನ ಹುಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಯಾಕೆ ಇದ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? So that is the kind of people. They are victims of lack of confidence, victim in terms of mistrust. They are victims of withdrawal and depression. They are people who tend to think that nane yakagbeku, for everything why am I why me, nನ್ಗೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಹಿಂಗಾಯ್ತು, ನನ್ಗೆ ಯಾಕೆ ದೇವ್ರು ಹಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ನನ್ಗೆ ಯಾಕೆ ನನ್ನ ಬಾಸ್ ನನ್ನನ್ನೇ ಯಾಕೆ ಹಿಡಿದ್ರು. So these are the types. There is one more type called the adhesives. ಈ adhesives ಅಂದ್ರೆ they can't let go things even if these things have happened years ago. ಅಂಟು ತುಂಬಾ adhesives ಅಂತೀವಿ. ಆ ಹಳೇದು ಹಿಂದೆ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ನಡೆದಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಒಂದು ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೋ ನಡೆದಿರುತ್ತೆ. There is a lot of he will remember all those things and then ಮೊರದಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಎತ್ತೆತ್ತ ಹಾಕೇರೋ ಅಂತ ಸ್ವಭಾವದವರು. They don't let things go, they don't let things die also. Then you have somebody called as the pessimist. ಈ pessimist problem ಏನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ they always expect the worst case scenario. The worst, last, ಏನಾಗ್ಬೋದು. They won't think of anything positive. They have no hope at all. Pessimist ಗಳು. They think of worst case scenarios. ಆಮೇಲೆ some of them you may have observed, they are boilers. ಅಂದ್ರೆ they have a tendency to blow up over even the slightest provocation. ಕಾಯ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ಹೆಗರು ಬೀಳಕ್ಕೆ, ಜಗಳ ಆಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ. Small provocation is enough for them to create a quarrel or a fight. ಆಮೇಲೆ complainers. These are the people who feel everything is wrong or will soon go wrong. ತಪ್ಪಾಗಿದೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ತಪ್ಪಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಇದೇ ನಿರೀಕ್ಷೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. They are not, they are also in a way pessimists and they also have a tendency to keep complaining. ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ ತರ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಟೈಪ್, choosers. ಇವ್ರು ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ they are constantly pitting one group against another. Choosers. ಒಂದ್ಸಲ ಈ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸಲ ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಈ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಇಂದ ಆ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಗೆತ್ತಾಕ್ತಾರೆ, ಆ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಇಂದ ಈ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಗೆತ್ತಾಕ್ತಾರೆ. ಡಿಫೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ತರ ಅವರು ಒಂದ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ. And another negative type is the detached. ನನ್ಗೂ ಇದಕ್ಕೂ ಏನು ಸಂಬಂಧ ಇಲ್ಲ. Now they feel most everything is down and it is beneath them. It is they are in no way attached to what is happening in and around them. They prefer being detached. Other negative type. And then there are some who are self-absorbed. These are the people who are constantly grabbing credit or attention. And then non omnipotent. Pratyonda should revolve around me. I should be the center of attraction. I should be considered. I should be, given due weightage everywhere. Idu self-absorbed. Now I would like, I had told you, ನಾನು ಈ ತರ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗೆ, I asked you, just try and relate people who have this nature, who have these kinds of tendencies, basically negative type of people, without naming them. Okay, you just have them in your mind, don't name them, but tell me, I request the participants to tell me of or give me an example of some such situations where you have involved in these negative type and how successfully you have handled them. Anybody, you may unmute yourself and speak. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮಾತಾಡದ್ಮೇಲೆ please mute. May I please request the audience? Tell me of an instance, an example where you have come across this negative type and you have been able to successfully handle them.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, Madam Sangeeta.
Yes, ma'am.
Ah.
That is usually when I heard the negative comments about others.
Huh.
Usually, what I do is not a successful that. Usually, I drop that place and come to another place. Just I want to avoid the situation.
Huh.
If we used to be there, there should be conversation. One or the other thing we have to add with them.
Huh.
So that creates another noisy situation.
Oh.
So what I do is simply just I'll stay away from that situation and just ignore them.
Okay.
That is the best, I think. For every reason, you're not supposed to open your mouth. Just you need to ignore them.
One need not talk or contribute every time something is done. Okay. So
Yes,
Sangeeta, wonderful. This is called as a tangential approach. Andre enadru ondu controversial agide antandre, you know, you just touch and you leave. You go away from it. Okay. You don't want to be a party to it. Okay. You don't want to encourage discussions. So probably by being out, the chances of you know, further worsening of the consequence is much lesser than being a part of it. Good, Sangeeta. Yes. Anybody else? See, soft skills is all about experiential learning, my friends. It is not something that comes straight from the text. Soft skills requires primarily your participation. May I please ask Professor Mahantesha? Yes, Professor Mahantesha. Those who have not put on your video, please get into the video mode, because Mahantesha, for all you know, may not be in the scene only. Heli Mahantesha avare. Heli Mahantesh. ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಇಷ್ಟೊತ್ತು ಇರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ತಾವು. ಅನ್ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಅನ್ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Can I, okay, there's no point again going back. Can I go to Josni Joseph? Josni Joseph, please.
Yes, ma'am, I come across, but not always successful.
Please tell me, what kind of people have you come across and how have you dealt, either successfully or otherwise? How have you failed also? It's okay.
In especially in colleges, we have to deal with some people with what you said, like negative attitudes and negative difficult people we have. So well, we have to, as a team, we have to, sometimes we have to work with them. So in that case, they always will be in a, no, that will not work. No, you cannot do like that, this, like that, they will be telling. So it will be demotivating us actually sometimes. So sometimes we will ignore and sometimes we will move forward.
Do you think ignoring this will help? You are
no, what their opinion, not I am not ignoring them, I am ignoring their opinions, but still will be including them also, will giving some work or something, will be including and moving forward.
Joseph, I have a point here. Now, this is a question to the entire audience. Now say you are in a team, you have some people who are resistors, okay? And you as an individual, as a team member, please tell me, would it be a good idea to ignore the resistance that is put forth by team members, or is it good idea to address it? Is it a good idea to address it, or is it a good idea to ignore it?
Better to address it and move forward.
Yeah. Good idea to address.
Yes, better to address.
Better to address it. Nodi, always, when you have, say in a team, when you have such resistors, one good way to handle such resistance is by proactively being assertive. How can you be assertive in these situations? One, though, you should be equipped with facts. Okay? Always, when you have to see, yavaga nimma argument na they will buy. When you are able to justify your stand, when you are able to substantiate, okay, or tell them the rationale behind why something has to be done a particular way. So this justification and substantiation coupled with facts, okay, facts and figures, and not neglecting the feelings. One kade facts, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕಡೆ sensitivity to the feelings of people around you. ಇವೆರಡನ್ನು consider ಮಾಡಿ, you have to assert yourself. That makes difficult for an individual to resist. Okay, so it is always good to address it. Okay, initially maybe in a very subtle way. If the person is matured enough, he or she can understand. But if the individual cannot even understand subtle means, then you may have to be more expressive, okay, more emphatic in your trying to reason out things, trying to rationalize. So ignoring cannot be a solution. Well, let me ask you a question. Why do individuals behave in a difficult manner? Now, this is a question that I would like to ask. Why do individuals behave in a difficult manner?
All depends on the changing mood of a person.
Changing mood of a person.
Because of their ego.
Some personality traits.
Because of their ego.
Because of their ego, wonderful. People tend to behave in difficult manner. I mean, behave as if they are difficult people to handle because they are egoistic. Somebody's very personality trait, maybe one which is very deflecting kinds. Okay.
And the wrong self-perception. Wrong self-perception.
Okay, okay. When they are okay, because they are two psychology people, Manjunath and Surma, I know are from the psychology department. Wonderful. ಇಷ್ಟೊತ್ತು ನಾನು ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಮಂಜುನಾಥ್ ಅವ್ರು ನೋಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಪರಿಚಯ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಇವ್ರ ಮುಖ ಎಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿದ್ದವರು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡು ನೋ ಐ ಕಾಟ್ ಬೋತ್ ಸುರ್ಮಾ ಅಂಡ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. ವೆಲ್, individuals behave in a difficult manner because they have learned over time that by doing so, by trying to act that they are difficult, you know, they keep others off balance and are incapable of effective action. You know, ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಡೀಲ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಸುಲಭ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರು ಆ ನೆಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಬೀಳ್ದಂಗೆ they try to make themselves as difficult people to understand, and they try to ensure that you are kept off balance so that, you know, you are incapable of effective action. Worst of all is that they appear to be immune to all usual methods of communication as well as persuasion, because they are designed to convince them or help themselves to change their ways. Okay, so difficult people do what they are doing intentionally, consciously, okay, to ensure that you are not in a comfort zone to handle them, and they believe or self or perception ಅಂತಂದ್ರು, they believe or perceive ಏನು ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ನಾನು ಅಷ್ಟು ಸುಲಭ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಯಾರ ಕೈ ಬಿಸಿ ಹಾಕೊಳ್ಳಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ಐ ಆಮ್ ನಾಟ್ ಏನ್ ಅಷ್ಟು ಸುಲಭ ಅಲ್ಲ ನಾನು. Okay, these are the kind of perceptions they try to create. Now, let us look at other types of difficult people, why they do something like that and how to handle it. There are some individuals who are very, very cranky. They are very cranky. Why are people cranky? Some people may be purposefully cranky because it helps them to get their own way. ಎಲ್ಲಾದ್ರಲ್ಲೂ ಕಿರಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಯ್ಯೇ ಅವನ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗೋದ್ ಬೇಡಪ್ಪ, ಅವ್ನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದನ್ನೇ ಸರಿ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಅಂತ. One second, please. Madam, I'm in an online class. I'll get back later. So, I'm sorry. I said that cranky people, kirik madoru, they tend to be cranky because they feel that by doing so, they will be able to get their own way in progress. ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರಿಗೆ crankiness is nothing. ಈಗ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿದವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅವ್ರ crankiness ನೋಡಿದಾಗ, for us it is simply a reflection of their own inner turmoil. People, when they are dissatisfied, when they are frustrated, they tend to show up irritation. They tend to display, all kinds of negative traits. That is because they are going through a lot of, their self-concept may be at stake. They may not be successful individuals in life. There's a lot of belittling themselves. So in the process, they tend to be very, very cranky. Now the question is, how do you deal with cranky people? First of all, try to determine the real message the person is telling you. What is it that the individual is really trying to convey you? Because why is this important? Many times you may not be a part of the problem. Adrinda you first kelbekagiddu, are you any part of the problem? What can you change about your own behavior? Avrna change madakagala. Then what is it on your part that you can change? ನೀವು ಹೇಳೋ ರೀತಿ ಅಲ್ಲ, ನೀವು ನಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋ ಶೈಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, what is it that is within you that you can bring about a change? When you are dealing with cranky people, don't remain silent. Don't remain silent. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಜಗಳ ಆಡ್ಬೇಕಾ? No. Agree with any part of the cranky person's statement that may be true. ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ನಿಮ್ ಕಡೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ? There will be so much of conversations that will be going on. There may be truth in one or the other statement, or there may be correctness about one or the other statement. Take that and agree with the individual. And after you have shown to him that you are in agreement with one aspect of it, in a neutral tone of voice, say, would you please speak to me in a calmer tone of voice? Then catch hold of the individual and then go on with your conversation. Andre, somewhere you are trying to assert your stand. Then we will go look at the aggressive people. Now, why are people aggressive? See, overly aggressive people expect others to run away from them or to react with rage. ಅವ್ರು ಕಾಯ್ತಾ ಇರೋದೇ ಅದು, ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಏನಕ್ಕೆ? ನಾನ್ ಕೋಪ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, ನಾನ್ ಜಗಳಕ್ ಬಿದ್ರೆ, ನಾನ್ ಜೋರಾಗಿ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆ ಕಡೆ ಇರೋನು ಇಲ್ಲ ಓಡೋಟೋಗ್ಬೇಕು. ಈಸ್ ನೀದರ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಮಿಡ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಆರ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್, ರನ್ಸ್ ಅವೇ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅದಾಗ್ಬೇಕು. ಅಥವಾ ಅವ್ನ್ ಜೋರ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಅವ್ನ್ ಜೋರ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ ತಡ ದಿಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ವಿಲ್ ಓವರ್ ಪವರ್ ಹಿಮ್. ಸೊ why are people aggressive? Because of these reasons. But how do you deal with aggressive people? Stand up to them, but don't fight. You have to stand up to them. ನೀಕ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಅಡ್ಡಡ ಉದ್ದ ನುಂಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. So you have to stand up to them, but don't fight. Wait for them to run out of steam. ಅವಕಾಶ ಕೊಡಿ. ಎಗ್ರಾಡೋಷ್ಟು ಎಷ್ಟು ಎಗ್ರಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಎಗ್ರಾಡೋಷ್ಟು ಅವಕಾಶ ಕೊಡಿ. But you are standing up there, not submissive and giving in. You are not fighting ಅಷ್ಟೇ. You wait for the steam to go down and then you take charge. ಇಂಥ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ call the hostile person by name and assert your opinion with confidence. The moment you take the individual by name, ನೀವು ಸರ್ ಅಂತ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಹೋಯ್ತು. ನಾನ್ ಸರ್ ಅಂತ ನಿಂತು ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. So you have to take the individual by his name to demean him somewhere or say ನೀನೇನ್ ತುಂಬಾ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಅಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನೋ ಹಾಗೆ. You have to take them by their name. And for example, Mr. Janardhan, I disagree with you. ಇಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ರು ಏನೋ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ, Joshmi, sorry, you interrupted me. We can discuss any proposal after, only after you listen to me. So you are asserting yourself. There are some people called as subtle snippers. ಈ subtle snipper ಗಳೇನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, these people are experts in pot shots. They make sneak attacks in very subtle ways. ನಂಗೊಬ್ರು ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಗೊತ್ತು, ಆ ಹೆಸರು ಹೇಳಲ್ಲ. ಏತಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರೇತಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಇದಕ್ಕೂ ಒಂದು ನಿಕ್ ನೇಮ್ ಇಡೋದು, ಒಂದು ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ ಒಂಥರ ಹೀಯಾಳಿಸಿ ಒಂದು ಇದು ಮಾಡೋದು. ದೇ ಆರ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಸಟಲ್ ಸ್ಲಿಪ್ಪರ್ಸ್. ಸ್ಲಿಪ್ಪರ್ಸ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರಲ್ಲ. ದೇ ಯುನೋ ಒಂಥರ ಗೇಲಿ ಉಡಾಯಿಸೋದು ಅಂತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಆ ತರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ದೇ ಆರ್ ಪೀಪಲ್. ಐ ಹೋಪ್ ಎವ್ರಿಬಡಿ ಹಿಯರ್ is ಕನ್ನಡ. ಮಧ್ಯ ಕನ್ನಡ ಬಡಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಐ ಹೋಪ್ yeah, wonderful. So I was talking about these snippers who take pot shots at people and sneak attacks. ಅದು ಏನು in very subtle ways. ಗೊತ್ತೇ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಎತ್ತ ಕಪಾಲದ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೊಡೆಯೋದವ್ರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತೇ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಹೊಡೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ. ಆ ಸ್ಲೈನೆಸ್ ಹೊಡಿತಾರೆ. They make humorous put downs. ನಿಮ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಗೇಲಿ ಮಾಡಿ, ತಮಾಷೆ ಮಾಡಿ, ನಿಮ್ನ they make you feel small. Okay. ಎರಡನೇದು ಸರ್ಕಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಟೋನ್ ಆಫ್ ವಾಯ್ಸ್. ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಆದ್ರೆ ಆ ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಸರ್ಕಾಸಿಸಮ್ ತುಂಬಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಮೂರನೇದಾಗಿ ನೀವು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತೀರಾ, ಹೇಳ್ತಿರ್ತೀರಾ, 10 ಜನ ಕಾಣುವಂಗೆ ಮುಖದಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸಪ್ರೂವಲ್ ಲುಕ್ಸ್. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ನೀವು 4 ಜನ ಒಂದೇ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ನವರು ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಇರ್ತೀರಪ್ಪ, ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಮೇಲೆ ನೀವು ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ, ನಿಮ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಇಂಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ನಡೀತಿದೆ, 4 ಜನನು ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಇರ್ತೀರಾ, ಒಬ್ರಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಒಬ್ರು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. ಪಿಯರ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಒಬ್ರಿಗೊಬ್ರು ರೈವಲ್ರಿ, ಒಬ್ಬನ್ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಎಳಿಬೇಕು, ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಇದ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು ಮಾತಾಡೋ ಟೈಮ್ ಬಂದಾಗ, ನೀವು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾಗ ಇನ್ ಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೋ ಗುಡು 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 ಅಂತ ಮಾತಾಡೋದು, ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಇಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ನಿಮ್ಗ ಕಾಣಲ್ವಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ರು ನೀವ್ ಕಾಣಲ್ಲ, ನೀವ್ ಅವ್ರು ಕಾಣಲ್ಲ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಕಾಣಂಗೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು. ಏನೋ ಪಾಪ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅಲ್ಲೋ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲೋ ಏನೋ ಒಂದ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಗ್ರಾಮರ್ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕೋ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ನೇನೋ ಉಚ್ಚಾರಣೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೋ ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಪುಸ್ತಕನಾಗೋದು. See, these are all ways that subtle snippers send a message ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಟಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತೇ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. You will still think he is your well-wisher. And these are the people who make snide remarks. ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ ನಿಮ್ ಭಾಷಣ. ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಲಾಪ್ ಹೊಡಿತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಇವುಗಳು ತಲೆ ತೂಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂತ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಏನೋ ಮಾತಾಡೋದು. ಇಲ್ಲ ಯು ಮೇಕ್ಸ್ ಸ್ನೈಡ್ ರಿಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋದು, ಇದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ನೇನ್ 2 ನಿಮಿಷ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡಕ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋದು. ನೋಡು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಬಾಡಿ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ನೋಡು ಹೆಂಗಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು. ಸೊ ಈ ತರ ಎಲ್ಲ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಟೆಂಡೆನ್ಸಿ ಟು ಮೇಕ್ ಸ್ನೈಡ್ ರಿಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್. ಹೌ ಡು ಡೀಲ್ ವಿತ್ ಸಟಲ್ ಸ್ನಿಪ್ಪರ್ಸ್? ಇವ್ರನ್ನ ಹೇಗ್ ಡೀಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ? ರೆಸ್ಪಾಂಡ್ ಟು ದ ಸ್ನಿಪ್ಪರ್ ವಿತ್ ಎ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್. ಯಾಕಪ್ಪ ಏನೋ ಶಬ್ದ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಲ್ಲ, ಏನ್ ಸಮಾಚಾರ? ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಹಿಮ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್. It sounds like you're making fun of me. Are you? Hey, illappa, hey guru, nan tamashi ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೆ, ನಾನು ಇನ್ನೇನೋ ಜೋಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ. So they try to escape. Are you trying to tell me something through your look? ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಮಾಡಿ. Did you really mean what you said? ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಮಾಡಿ. Then that fellow will have no face. A snipper will usually respond with denial. ಇಲ್ಲ ನೀನ್ ತಪ್ಪರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ಯಾ, ನಾನು ಆತರ ಹೇಳಲೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ನೋಡ್ಲೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೂ ನನ್ಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧವೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಡಿನಯಲ್ ಮೋಡ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಥವಾ they will volley the responsibility to you. I was only joking man, ನಿನ್ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಹೆಂಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ನೋಡೋಣ ಅಂತ ಹಂಗಂದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ they may say that ಏನಪ್ಪ ನೀನು ಎಷ್ಟು ಸೀರಿಯಸ್, ನಿನ್ನಿಂದ ಎಂತ ಮನುಷ್ಯ, ಯು ಕಾಂಟ್ ಇವನ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಅ ಜೋಕ್, ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿಸ್? ಸಿ ಅವರು ದೇ ಆರ್ ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್ ಅಟ್ ಇಟ್. ತುಂಬಾ ಸಟಲ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಜಾರ್ಕೊಳಕ್ಕೆ ಜಾಗಗಳು ತುಂಬಾ ಇರ್ತವೆ. ದೇ ಆರ್ ರೆಡಿ ವಿತ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ಸ್. ಸ್ಪೀಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಪ್, ಐ ಸೆಡ್ ಯು ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಅ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್, ಸ್ಪೀಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಪ್ ಲೆಸನ್ಸ್ ದ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ ಅಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್. ನಂಬಕ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ, ನಾನು ಏನಾದ್ರು ಅನ್ಬಿಡೋಣ, ತಿರ್ಗಿ ಎಲ್ಲಾರ ಮುಂದೆ ನನಗೆ ಅನ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾನೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ಭಯ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಐ ಟಾಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇನರ್ಸ್. These complainers are fearful people who have faith in themselves. They are fearful people. Yakandre they are complainers. They have little faith in themselves. I'm sorry. They have very little faith in themselves as well as others. I am not okay, you are not okay there. Because they believe that the whole world is hostile. ಪ್ರಪಂಚನೇ ಹಿಂಗೆ, ಯಾರು ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನೀವು ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. They are always under constant discouragement and complaining and can bring everyone around him in despair. Enthusiasm ಇರೋರನ್ನ despair ಗೆ ಎಳೆದು ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. These complainers. Now, how do you deal with complainers? Don't try to argue out of them of their negativity. They are drenched in negativity. ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ತೆಗಿಯಕ್ ಆಗೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನೀನು ನೆಗೆಟಿವಿಸಮ್ ಇಂದ ತೆಗಿಯಕ್ ಆಗೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ತೆಗಿಯಕ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ನಿನ್ನೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅದ್ರೊಳಗಡೆ. ಆದ್ರಿಂದ don't try to argue them out of their negativity. Respond with your own optimistic expectations. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಉತ್ತರ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ, ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ, you firmly be optimistic and express your views in optimistic terms. ಅವ್ರು ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಖಂಡಿತ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇದು ಖಂಡಿತ ಸಾಧ್ಯ, ಇದು ಖಂಡಿತ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. I think that everything will turn out great. ಕಾನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್ಗೂ ಮುಂಚೆ ಯಾಕೋ ಇದು ಏನೋ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಈ ತರ ಎಳಿತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ, stick to your gun. Say that everything will be fine. It will turn out well. I am sure things will happen the way it is planned. Everything will be fine. So this is the kind of assertion that you need to do. Innonthara, negative type, difficult people. Silent people. Haudalva? Silent people, oh my God, they can get you on your nerves. Now, these silent people are timid people. They are like turtles. easily they withdraw themselves. They retreat. Retreat into the shell. They avoid conflict. They avoid responsibility. Silent people. Our hege andre they get away without talking. They don't want to talk because you see, most people are uncomfortable with silence, and what they do is they will soon fill up the gaps. ಇದು ಇವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜ್ ಆಗಿ ತಗೊಂಡು ಎನಿವೇ ನನ್ನ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ಕೀಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದೆಮ್ ಅಂತ they will try to keep silent and they'll try to be as invisible as possible. And how do you deal with silent people? You ask them questions that cannot be answered with yes or no. Silent ಆಗಿರೋರಿಗೆ ನೀವೇ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಎಸ್ ಆರ್ ನೋ ಹೇಳಕ್ಕೆ ಎರಡರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಮತ್ತೆ ಸೈಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಯಾವ ತರ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೇಳ್ಬೇಕು? Would you please help me understand the problem that you are facing? ಇಂಥ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಆಗ್ತಾಗ, ಓಪನ್ ಎಂಡೆಡ್ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಆಗ್ತಾಗ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸೂಕ್ತವಾಗಿರುವಂತದ್ದು ಅದ್ರ ಹಿನ್ನೆಲೆ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸೂಕ್ತವಾಗಿರೋ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಯು ಆರ್ ಪೋಸಿಂಗ್ ಅ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ವೇರ್ he needs to give you a descriptive answer. ಹಾಗೂ ಅವನು ಸ್ಟಬರ್ನ್ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸೈಲೆಂಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸೈಲೆಂಟ್ ಟು ದ ಕೋರ್. ಅವಾಗ wait for a minute, give him the required time. If he continues his silence, then that is if he doesn't respond at all, set another date to discuss the matter. Don't leave it. So these are the ways of dealing with some of these people. There are some don'ts. Idu na tumba artha madkobeku. In dealing with difficult people, there are some don'ts. Don't take the difficult person's behavior personally. ಯಾಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರು, ಯಾಕೆ ಈ ತರ ಉತ್ತರ ಕೊಟ್ಟ ಅವನು, ಯಾಕೆ ಒಂದ್ ಮೊಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ತರ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ ಮೊಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಪೋಸಿಟ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಡಿಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಯಾಕೆ ನನ್ನನ್ನ ಗೇಲಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಡೋಂಟ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಪರ್ಸನಲಿ. ಡೋಂಟ್ ಟೇಕ್ ದ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ಸ್ ಬಿಹೇವಿಯರ್ personally. A difficult person's behavior is habitual. ನೀವಲ್ಲ, ನಿಮ್ ತರ 4 ಜನ 6 ಜನ ಇದ್ರು ಎಲ್ಲಾರ ಜೊತೆನೆ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಬಿಹೇವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರ ಅವರು. ಅದು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅಂತಾನೆ ಅದು ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದಲ್ಲ. A difficult person's behavior is habitual. He behaves this way with most people. ಎರಡನೇದಾಗಿ, ಡೋಂಟ್ ಮೇಕ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ಯೂಸಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ಸ್ ಬಿಹೇವಿಯರ್. ಅವ್ರ ಆಡೋ ಅವತಾರಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋಂಗೆ ನೀವೇ ಒಂದು ದಾರಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಡಿ. ಇಲ್ಲ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಅಂತ ನೀವೇ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಸಾಂತ್ವನ ಹೇಳೋಂಗೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ. ಡೋಂಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ಯೂಸ್ ದೆಮ್. ಥಿಂಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಅದರ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಹೂ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಫೇಸ್ಡ್ ಅಡ್ವರ್ಸಿಟಿ and have not become difficult. And you lose control when you make excuses for difficult people. So you don't make excuse for it. ಅವ್ರು ಹೆಂಗೋ ಎದ್ದೋತದ್ದು ಆಡಿದ್ರೆ, ಮನೇಲಿ ನಿನ್ಗೆ ಏನೋ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಹೋಗ್ಲಿ ಬಿಡು ಅಂತ ನೀವೇ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಆ ಬಿಹೇವಿಯರ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ಹ್ಯಾಬಿಚುವಲ್ ಕೂಡ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾವ ತರ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ ಆ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಮೇಲೆ. ಆದ್ರಿಂದ don't lose control by giving excuses for the difficult person. ಆಮೇಲೆ don't fight back. Don't ನೋಡಿ, ಇದನ್ನ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಈ ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ ನ. Don't try to beat them at their own game. ಎಂತ ನಿಪ್ಪುಣರಾಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಪರಿಣಿತ ಇದಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವರು ನೀವು ಕಾಂಪೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ. ಡೋಂಟ್ ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಬೀಟ್ ದೆಮ್ ಅಟ್ ದೇರ್ ಓನ್ ಗೇಮ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬೀನ್ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿಸಿಂಗ್ ದಿಸ್ ಗೇಮ್, ದಿಸ್ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ವೆರಿ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಟೈಮ್. and you are only a beginner by comparison. You can't overtake them. Anta janro. I mean, don't try to oppose them. Difficult people, you should not try to oppose them. It won't work because difficult people have an insatiable appetite for more. ಈ ಜಗಳ ಆಡೋರ್ಗೆ ನೀವು ಸಮಾಧಾನ ಮಾಡಿದಷ್ಟು ಇನ್ನೂ ಕೊಬ್ಬೆತ್ಕೋತಾರೆ, ಇನ್ನೂ ಎಚ್ಚೆತ್ಕೋತಾರೆ, ಇನ್ನೂ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಜಗಳ ಆಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಡೋಂಟ್ oppose, I mean, don't oppose them. If I have to put the right word, don't appease them. Oppose them ಅಲ್ಲ, oppose ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ, but don't appease them. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀನೇ ಇಂದ್ರ ಚಂದ್ರ ದೇವೇಂದ್ರ ಅಂತ ಅವನ್ನ ಉಬ್ಸೋದು, ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾತ್ರ ಯಾವತ್ತೂ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಡಿ. ಅದು ಉಬ್ಸದಷ್ಟು ಇನ್ನೂ ಕೊಬ್ಬೆತ್ಕೋತಾರೆ, ಇನ್ನೂ ತುಂಬಾ they will behave in very ಏನದು more clear way. ಪ್ರೇಮವಾಣಿ ಅವರೇ, ಪ್ರೇಮವಾಣಿ ಅವರೇ, ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಲೆಕ್ಚರ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ?
ಎಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ನೀವ್ ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಬೇರೆ ಲೆಕ್ಚರ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ?
ಇಲ್ಲ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ನೀವು ಅಲ್ಲ, ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ನೀವು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಲ್ಲ, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಲಿಟಲ್ ಬಿಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಎ ಡಿಸ್ಟರ್ಬೆನ್ಸ್ ಟು ಮೀ ಅಷ್ಟೇ.
ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ,
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು. ಅಂಡ್ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಚೇಂಜ್ ದ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್. ಯು ಕಾಂಟ್ change other people. You can only change your response to their behavior. You can't change them, but you can change your reactions, your response to their behavior. That is within you. It is an internal cure. By changing your responses, they may decide to change their ways, or they may even not change. However, you feel better because you have made an attempt. Okay. Now, there are certain things that you have to keep practicing while you're dealing with difficult people. You have to keep practicing because this is an art. Dealing with difficult people is an art. You will break by practicing. What do? You will break the difficult person's ability to interfere with your effectiveness. If you learn the art of dealing with difficult people, then you will break the difficult person's ability to interfere with your effectiveness. You will stand up for yourself in a very compassionate and respectful manner. That is very important. If you keep practicing, you will be able to handle it, giving you the due self-respect. Nimma self-concept, nimma self-respect na matra adi idakke bidalla ನೀವು. You will feel more confident when you have learned this as a practice, and you will be able to enjoy your work days without any stress or tension. So next time you embark on a difficult person, I wish you good luck. I want you to try some of these ways of handling people. Now, let me go and tell you about how to deal with hostile, aggressive people. ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ಹಾಸ್ಟೈಲ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕೋಲ್ಡ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ವಾರ್ಮ್ತ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ, ಜನರ ಜೊತೆ ಬೆರಕೆ ಇರಲ್ಲ, ಸಂಪರ್ಕ ಇರಲ್ಲ, ಅಂಡ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಅಗ್ರೆಸಿವ್. ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ಹಾಸ್ಟೈಲು, ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ಅಗ್ರೆಸಿವ್. ಸೊ ಇಂಥವ್ರನ್ನ ಹೌ ಡು ಯು ಡೀಲ್ ವಿತ್ ದೆಮ್? ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಅಪ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯೋರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. ಗಿವ್ ದೆಮ್ ದ ಟೈಮ್ ಟು ಟರ್ನ್ ಡೌನ್. ಅವ್ರು ಬರ್ಲಿ, give them the time, let them speak, let them try to turn you down. Iದೇನ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಇದನ್ನ. And when you're dealing with them, always use a self-assertive language. ನಾನು ಅಂದೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ, self-assertive language can be in terms of looking into their eyes and speaking, in terms of in terms of addressing them by their first name, in terms of your countenance, In terms of being alert, you should use your self-assertive language. And make sure that you avoid direct confrontation because they have tendencies to be aggressive. There are indecisive stallers. ಈ ಇಂಡಿಸಿಸಿವ್ ಸ್ಟಾಲರ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಡ್ಗೋಡೆ ಮೇಲೆ ದೀಪ ಇಟ್ಟಂಗೆ, ಇತ್ಲಗೂ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅತ್ಲಗೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. Raise the issue why they are hesitant. How do you handle them? Ask them, why are they hesitant? Why are they not taking a position, a stand? What is coming in the way of them to declare their position? Tell them that. If you are the problem, if there is a problem for you, you seek help, I say. Ask for help. Keep the action at your own hand. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕೈಲಿರ್ಬೇಕು. ಫೈನಲಿ ಈ ಇಂಡಿಸಿಸಿವ್ ಸ್ಟಾಲರ್ಸ್ ಹತ್ರ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ್ದು ಎತ್ಲ ಕಡೆಗಾದ್ರೂ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಇತ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಅತ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಅಂತಾನು ಇರಲ್ವಲ್ಲ. ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹೇಗ್ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ನೀವು ಮುಂಚೆನೆ ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, ದೆನ್ it is possible to take action which is in your own hand. Remove them from the situation if possible. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಟೀಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದ್ ಪಕ್ಷ, ಈಗ ನೀವು ನ್ಯಾಕ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ನ್ಯಾಕ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ದು ಒಂದು 7 ಕ್ರೈಟೀರಿಯಾಗೆ 7 ಗ್ರೂಪ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬ ಇಂಡಿಸಿಸಿವ್ ಸ್ಟಾಲರ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾನೆ. ಆತ he is neither committed nor involved nor dedicated. ಅಡ್ಗೋಡೆ ಮೇಲೆ ದೀಪ ಇಟ್ಟಂಗ್ ಮಾತಾಡೋದು, ಪ್ರತಿ ಸಲ ಎಸ್ಕೇಪಿಸಮ್. ಸೊ ಇಂಥವ್ರನ್ನ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಇಡೋದೇ ವಾಸಿ. rather than call him inside and say that make him believe that he is a team player. So remove them from the situation if possible. ಇನ್ನೊಂಥರ ಜನರು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, called the balloons. ನೋಡಿ, ಪದ ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆನೆ ಬಲೂನ್ಸ್. ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ನೀವ್ ಇನ್ನೂ ಏನು ಹೇಳೇ ಇರಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ. ನಾನ್ ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾಕೆ ನಾಳೆ ಸಂಜೆ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿ ಇಟ್ಟಿರ್ತೀನಿ. ಎಲ್ಲಾ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಡಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬರ್ದಿಟ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ ಮೇಡಮ್. ಅದು ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಇನ್ನು ಹೇಳಕ್ಕೂ ಮುಂಚೆ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಬಲೂನ್ಸ್. ಮೇಲಕ್ಕೆ ಏರ್ತಾರೆ. ಏನು ಅವ್ರು ಮೇಲಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗೋದು ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಎಲ್ಲ ನನ್ಗೇನ್ ತಲೆನೋವೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಾಳೆ ಸಂಜೆ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾನು ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಕೀಪ್ ಇಟ್ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀರ. But balloons are difficult people. They state facts as if that is the reality. ಇಂಥವ್ರಿಗೆ ನೀವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, you state facts as your perspective of reality. You should tell them that this is what is expected and this is the reality. Not building castles in the air ಇಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ನೇನೋ false promises ಕೊಡೋದಲ್ಲ. ಒಂದ್ ಪಕ್ಷ ಅವ್ರು ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ದವ್ರು ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಯು ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಫೈಂಡ್ ಅ ವೇ ಫಾರ್ ದೆಮ್ ಟು ಸೇವ್ ಫೇಸ್. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಹೌ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ ದೆಮ್. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಮೇಕ್ ದೆಮ್ ಫೀಲ್ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಎಂಥ್ಯೂಸಿಯಾಸಮ್ ಇದೆ. ಆ ಎಂಥ್ಯೂಸಿಯಾಸಮ್ ನ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಚಾನಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ಚಾನಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಇನ್ ಸಿನರ್ಜಿ, ಇನ್ ಕೊಲಾಬರೇಟಿವ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್. ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ಅಂತ ಆಟಾಡ್ಸೋ ಅದನ್ನ ಇದು ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು, ಹೀಯಾಳಿಸ್ಬಾರ್ದು. ಏನೋ ದೊಡ್ಡದಾಗ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟೆ ನೀನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೀಯಾಳಿಸ್ಬಾರ್ದು. ಯು ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಫೈಂಡ್ ಅ ವೇ ಫಾರ್ ದೆಮ್ ಟು ಸೇವ್ ಫೇಸ್. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಎಂಪಥೈಸ್ ವಿತ್ ದೆಮ್ so that they are not completely lost out of your mushti. You know how you have to deal with them? You confront them alone. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಇಮೇಜ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ತುಂಬಾ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಅವಮಾನ ಆಗೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಕಾನ್ಫ್ರಂಟ್ ದೆಮ್ ಅಲೋನ್, ನಾಟ್ ಇನ್ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್. Then you have another kinds called know it all kinds. ಇವು ಒಂಥರ ಬುಲ್ಡೋಸರ್ಸ್. ಏನಿದೆ ಈ ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ಸ್ ಓರಿಯಂಟೇಶನ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನನ್ಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, ಐ ಆಮ್ ಎ ಲಿಟಲ್ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್, ಐ ನೋ ಇಟ್ ಆಲ್ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋರು ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ದೇ ಆರ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ as ಬುಲ್ಡೋಸರ್ಸ್. ಇಂಥವ್ರನ್ನ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಯೋರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್, ಯು ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಯೋರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಸೊ ದಟ್ you don't become an easy pawn for others to bulldoze you. You listen to them. paraphrase their main points. Andre, I am understanding. Is this what you're trying to say? Anta, you are trying to paraphrase their important main points, and you use the questioning form to raise problems. So in that way, you are able to handle them. Very difficult people, like the silent people. They're not calm something. Now, these are the individuals who, by virtue of the trait, are very calm individual. MMLA, male udru yenu agala nange irtare. They ask, for them, to deal with them, you have to ask them open-ended questions. No, yes, no. Dichotomous questions mark kelbedi. Avaru tumba comfort zone alli irtare. Yes, no anta helbiಟ್ಟು alle they get they withdraw themselves into the shell. You must have a lot of patience to deal with these kinds. You must be patient and you must wait for their response. If there is no response, you must tell your opinion. And with the complainers, it is important that you display focus and attention. Listen attentively to the complainers. Or the real complaint is not the complaint. Or yaro obru keloro obru beku ashte. So listen attentively. Acknowledge their feelings. Are the problem solved? Acknowledge their feelings. Hauda? Hagaita? Then, importantly, you avoid complaining with them. Our complaint madadru anta neevu adana escalate madbedi. Avoid complaining with them. Tell the truth without apology. Nimge ansiddana ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿ without any form of apology. This is how you deal with complaints. There are super agreeables. Super agreeables. ನೀವು ನಿರೀಕ್ಷಿಸೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ನಾನು ಇದೀನಿ, I am there to bail you out, I am of support to you ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದು. ನಂಬಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. You can never believe. They are also negative types because in time ಅಲ್ಲಿ withdraw ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. So these are called as super agreeables. Find out, ಇವರು ಹೇಳೋಕ್ಕೂ ಮುಂಚೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತಾರೆ, similar to those balloons, but they will not work. So it is important for you to understand, why do these super agreeables not willing to work? Let them know that you respect them. ನೀವು ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾದ್ರೆ ಇವನ್ ಯಾರು ಅಂತ ನಿಮ್ನ ಕಡೆಗಣಿಸ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. You should show them that you respect the individual. You respect the super agreeables ಅಂತ ಅಂದಾಗ ನನ್ನನ್ನ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರನಾದ್ರು what they do, they will try to hold on to their self image. Be ready to act. Don't allow the individual to make unrealistic commitments. ಆಕಾಶ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು, ಅದನ್ನು ಒಪ್ಕೋಬೇಡಿ. Don't allow them to make unrealistic comments. You have to, in your own right, discern the hidden meaning in their humor. ಯಾವ ಮಹಾ ಎರಡು ಗಂಟೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಕೂತ್ರೆ 2 ಗಂಟೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ. Discern the hidden meaning in the humor. It is not really as easy as it appears to be. But because they are super agreeables, by virtue of their trait, their nature, they tend to show up this. Then, how do you deal with the negatives? Don't get dragged into their despair. The negative people always have something to despair. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಒಳಗಾಗ್ಬೇಡಿ. ಡೋಂಟ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಡ್ರ್ಯಾಗ್ಡ್. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಾಗ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೊಂದಾಗ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನ an object of problem ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. So don't get dragged. At the same time, don't try to cajole them out of negativism. ಅವ್ರು ಎಷ್ಟು ಡೆಪ್, they are so much absorbed in negativity that it is not possible for you to cajole them. ಏನೋ ನಾನು ಕೌನ್ಸಿಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಹೊರಗೆ ತರ್ತೀನಿ, ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಪಡ್ಬೇಕು. For always, sometimes constructively we may have to help individuals get out of it, but you should not cajole them. ಇಲ್ದಿದ್ದ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಪ್ಯಾಂಪರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ it is only going to pull you also into that negativism. Discuss the issue in detail, show the negative side of yours. ಅವಾಗ ಒಂದ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನಂಬಿಕೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಟ್ರಸ್ಟ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ಸ್ ಬಿಲ್ಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Then the individual will be open up for, will be willing to open for change. And you must be ready to act without agreement. Now, say for example, in a situation where you are in a meeting, okay, you are the head of the department and you are conducting a meeting. There will invariably be some problem types, some disruptive individuals in the meeting. How do you handle people in such meetings who have a disruptive tendency? ಒಬ್ಬೊಬ್ರು ಏನಾಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ they have a tendency to show off. Okay, they want to show they are omnipotent. ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಇದೀನಿ ನಾನು, my presence is there ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಹೇಳಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ they tend to show off. ಅಂತವ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು? As a boss, as a leader, toss him a difficult question or say, that's an interesting point, let's see what the group says. ಅವನೇನೋ ಹೇಳಿರ್ತಾನೆ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಓಕೆ, ಅವಾಗ you will say that's a very interesting point, ಇರಿ, let us see what the other group members have to say. ಅವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲಾರು ಇಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಸಿಲಿ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಬೋದು, ನೀವೇನು ಅಂತಿಲ್ಲ, ಯು ಆರ್ ಅ ಲೀಡರ್ ಬಿಹೇವಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಮೆಚೂರ್ಡ್ ಮ್ಯಾನರ್. The people around you, the other group members may confront him, may shut him, may argue with him, may take up a controversial point. So you are allowing the group to take on him. ಎರಡನೇದು, if he is an argumentative heckler, ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ there is one individual who is an argumentative heckler. How, as a leader, as a HOD, how would you handle? You will remain calm, agree and affirm with the good points, but toss the bad points to the group for discussion. Soon the heckler will be rejected by the group. What is the tactful ways of how CEOs manage important meetings? ಇನ್ನೊಂಥರ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ramblers. ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, they speak so much they forget what is the theme or what is the central point of discussion. At a pause that the individual gives in his monologue, you enter in and restate relevant points. ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಅವರಾಗೆ ಬಿಟ್ರೆ they will constantly keep speaking. So if you want to stop them, wait for a pause and enter, rush into it, and then you restate things that are relevant so that he takes it from there. Sometimes the individual could be an enemy, where there could be personality clashes between individuals. Here it's very, very tactfully it has to be handled. Here to emphasize the points of agreement and try to minimize differences. If you enter into a duel, an argument, then it will be room for all others to take advantage of the situation. So try to minimize the differences and emphasize the point of agreement. If suppose one of the members in the meeting is an off-base participant, andre physically present, but he is mentally absent, and ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲದೆ ಅವ್ರುಗಳು ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಆಫ್ ಬೇಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೆಂಟ್ ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವರು they don't stick to what is to be spoken. ಊರಿನ ವಿಷಯ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಬೇಡದಿರೋ ವಿಷಯ, inappropriate ವಿಷಯ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಂತವ್ರನ್ನ ಹೇಗೆ, how do you handle? You take the blame on yourself and say, perhaps I have not led you to the subject properly. The actual point of discussion that we should now focus on is, Anbutu, you will tell them what is to be discussed. So, nimmel ನೀವು blame ತಗೊಂಡು, ಅಯ್ಯೋ ನಾನು ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೇಳಿಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ, ನಮ್ದು theme of today's discussion is this ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ವಾಪಸ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. If amongst your team members, I mean the meeting, within the meeting, if there is a silent participant, how will you get him to speak? Ask him a provocative question. For example, ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರ್ದೋ ಒಂದು ಫೋಟೋ ನೋಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು, ನಾನು ಪಿಕ್ಚರ್ ನೋಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು, ಯಾಕೆ ನಿದ್ರೆ ಬರ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ ಇವ್ರೆ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. It's not that I don't want to, I want to make a comment. It's not that. He is silent and I want him to speak. So I toss a provocative question. So this is how you get people to participate in your meetings and discussions. 3:15 now. I will continue on the same subject and followed by what is called as inter and intrapersonal communication at 3:45. I will take questions a little later once I finish on these difficult people. There's a very interesting one more aspect of handling, particularly in professional life, which you, I, and all of us here encounter. Adru ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ at 3:45. And just one moment I want from you as a feedback. Are you comfortable with Konglish, Kannada, or do you want to drive it completely? I'm perfectly fine with both. Yes, sir. Yes, Rajashekar Murthy avare. Please tell me.
Yes, madam. Konglish ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ ಮೇಡಮ್.
I don't mind. I can.
ಇಲ್ಲ ಮೇಡಮ್ ನಮಗೆ.
I can talk a technical language. I can talk the psychology. The psychologists here would appreciate. I can use the psychology as language of the psychologists. But